devil. You were no stranger to the rain. So go rest high on that mountain. The sun, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son. Oh, how we cried the day you left us. We gathered round your grave to grieve. Wish I could see angels' faces when they hear your sweet voice sing. So go rest high on that mountain. The sun, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son. Go rest high on that mountain. 'Cause son, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son. Go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son.
It will benefit us all today to do two things: to remember Zach and to remember that we have hope. We're going to remember Zachary Dale Cottengim, and to help us do that, we have a few guests and special friends. Zach will be honored by Louisville Police Chief Erica Shields. Chief, thank you for being here. Zach will be remembered by a really good friend of Zach and his dad, retired Louisville police officer Dave Burns. Zach will be remembered by Louisville police officer Bobby Lewis has also served as chaplain for the department. Be a couple more songs that you'll hear, in addition to the one you just heard, they're chosen by the family as Zach's favorites. But as one of the pastors of this church, I want to say, first of all, to you, Jamie, that I am sorry that you have lost your husband. I want to say to Riley and Alexander that I am sorry that you have lost your daddy. And to all of this family, Zach's dad, Zach's mom, all the family who are here, I am so sorry. We shouldn't have to be here today. The accident should not have happened Saturday, December 18th, and badge number 7239 should not have ended its tour after just 7 years and 2 months with the LMPD. To the men and women who serve as public servants for our community, you who are first responders, EMS, firefighters, police officers, active and retired, thank you. But especially those today who serve in the LMPD, I am sorry that you have lost one of your own. Last year, September, my first cousin, Ricky Allen, he died suddenly of a heart attack. He was in his early 50s. And after a long career as a Kentucky State Trooper, my cousin Ricky had been the sheriff of Muhlenberg County. I do know what this feels like. And I have great respect, admiration, and gratitude for all of you who serve in a profession that puts your own life in harm's way. And I say with all sincerity, thank you, and God bless you. This is a hard day, which is why it's good. I would say it's why it's crucial that we also remember that we have hope today. I believe with all of my heart and all of my mind that there is hope. And our hope is not in our profession, it's not in our politics, it's not in our status. Our hope is not in our wealth. Our hope is in a person. And in the next few days, there will be people around the world that will gather with their family and their friends to remember the birth of this one in whom we find our hope. Our hope has a name, and his name is Jesus. God came to earth, this very earth that he created. He came in person. He lived a little over 33 years. And there's a great story about Jesus. He was probably about 30 years old, which is just a year older than your Zach. And the story is that Jesus and 12 of his closest followers were in a boat at sea when suddenly, out of nowhere, a huge storm came up. And Jesus' followers actually yelled out at Jesus, who was in the boat with them, napping. And they said, "Don't you care that we're about to drown?" So Jesus stood, rebuked the wind, and he said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the storm stopped. What I would want to encourage us today about that story that involved Jesus is that often out of nowhere an unexpected storm hits us. Our friends in Western Kentucky, Muhlenberg County, where my own family lives, they can tell us about unexpected storms today. Probably everybody in this room has experienced some unexpected storm, or you're in one right now. Family concerns, struggling finances, stress at work, there's an illness, loneliness, fear. And most of the time it's unexpected. 5:30 this morning, I got a phone call from the emergency room at Baptist East Hospital. My 86-year-old dad was there. He's okay, we think, but I'll leave here in a few minutes to go see my dad, unexpected. And so in those unexpected storms, we wonder, we even question, like the followers of Jesus did, if God really cares. Oh, he cares. And as I have now experienced after 60 years of following Jesus, most of the time, he allows the storm to happen, but he's present in the storm. And often he doesn't calm the storm, he calms us. So we can have hope today, we can have peace today, but the peace is in a person. Jesus actually told his followers in John chapter 14, he said, "Peace I leave with you." He told them right before he was going to be crucified. He knew he was going to be raised from the dead and the Father would take him to heaven. He said, "But when I leave, I will leave my peace I give you. I don't give as the world gives," which meant status and stuff. His peace is his presence. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we are grateful that you promised that your Spirit would be our comfort and our counselor. Thank you for that. So, Father, if I may, I would like to ask that you give Jamie, Riley, Alexander, all of Zach's family, all of this family sitting in this room, all of these friends, would you give a comfort that can only come from you? Would you give the gift of your presence, an unmistakable sense of who you are? And we are grateful that in the midst of the storm, Father, that you are not secluded in some corner of the universe, but that you've made yourself present in this earth, in this city, in this room. Help us to be aware. Would you calm us? Help us to know the peace. Father, help us. And we pray this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. So to honor Zach, Police Chief Erica Shields.
Good morning. My heart is heavy as I stand here today. We should not be here. And I wish I had something to offer each of you to ease the pain. Yet I know that we are suspended in a space for which there's no relief. Zach embodied all that we covet. He was young, healthy, good-looking, successful, and with an incredible support system of family and friends. I believe that professionally, he was on a path that would have been limitless, no boundaries, in large part because his approach to policing, like life, was positive, forward-thinking. And those are the cops who excel. But those of us who are here walking the earth, we don't have the final say on our respective timelines. All that we can do is navigate the heartache and commit to honoring one man's legacy. To the police here, Zach's legacy will always be that of a cop. And we have an obligation to keep the profession one of integrity and common decency. It is the least we can do for Zach. Jamie, I know that at the moment your future must feel overwhelming and daunting, and that's okay. My faith allows me to say with absolute conviction, you would not have been handed something that you could not handle. You and your children will always be a part of the policing family. And not just the LMPD policing family, but in every department in every corner of the United States. We don't do everything right in our profession, which is well documented. But our shared vulnerabilities have allowed us to know how to embrace our heroes. And Zach is absolutely a hero. May God be with you all.
Inadvertently forgot to recognize and to welcome Mayor Fisher. It's good to have you here, sir. And also to help remember some sweet stories is Sergeant Dave Burns, who is a 16-year veteran of the United States Army, served in Desert Storm with Zach's dad, Dale. Also served as police officer, 23-year veteran Sergeant Dave Burns.
Zach's wife, Jamie, is going to come up here and join me for this part of the ceremony. And she's going to be escorted by Zach's brothers and sisters in blue from 1st Division, Squad 1. Please come on up. About 31 years ago, two scared young kids were sitting near the Iraqi-Saudi border, contemplating life and death. Dale was already a young father with Zach's older sister, Erica, and I had one on the way, due in a few short months. Like many soldiers, we made a pact that day that if anything were to happen, that we'd take care of each other's families. That day, we became brothers. I'm certain that many of the officers here have made that same pact with their brothers and sisters and probably done it with more than one. It's their brothers, their sisters, not by blood, but by choice. The police department is a special place. It is like nothing portrayed in Hollywood or in the newspapers. Police work is a dangerous profession. You have to literally put your life in the hands of another person, and you're responsible for protecting theirs. That's a very heavy responsibility. And if life hadn't taught you already, you will learn very quickly that things like race, gender, and all that other nonsense and groups we try to categorize people in are just noise. Your life is going to be protected by somebody that looks different than you, that believes different than you. So it's quality of character, it's honor, courage, commitment that define your friendships. And man, that's beautiful. Just look around this room today and you'll see it. You'll see the different groups that are represented here today. And I could point to anybody in this room and I know that that person would risk their life to save mine as I would theirs. The whole world should be like this. Zach was a shining example of this world. I'm honored to be here today to tell you about the kid that I watched grow up and become the outstanding young man that he became. Over the past few days, many family and friends have shared some outstanding stories about him, both funny and just awe-inspiring. I simply don't have enough time to tell you all, though I wish I did. So I'm going to share some of them so that hopefully those that y'all don't know Zach can see Zach the way his family and friends do. First, I'm going to start with little Zach. One of the cute little stories about Zach is that when he was little, he couldn't pronounce his big sister's name, Erica. So he said Erwika. He called her Erwika. Even after his speech matured, he never stopped calling her Erwika. Even at 29 years old, it was Erwika. And today, Riley and Alexander, when he gets to be that age, it's going to be Aunt Erwika and always will be. Another one of the cute little Zach stories involves a trip to Huber's farm. 4-year-old little Zach wanted to feed the ducks out there. He tells his dad he wants to feed the ducks. Dad looks around, notices that to feed the ducks, there's a little gumball machine there with the duck feed in it. You have to have quarters for it. So he looks at Zach and he says, I got to get some quarters. And cute little Zach, in a dead straight face gaze, panned, "Do ducks eat quarters?" You know. Another adorable little Zach story, the comment came in written form. Like most siblings, Zach and his big sisters would get in arguments. During one of those incidents, Zach used some inappropriate language. Zach's mom, Pam, obviously disciplined him for that. But part of his punishment was that he had to write an apology letter and explain his actions. When Pam read that letter, she couldn't help but laugh, because young Zach's reasoning for the inappropriate language was that when he gets mad, those words just sort of fall out of his mouth like Jell-O. I think we've all had some Jell-O moments in our lives. As Zach got older, he set his sights on becoming a police officer. It was his dream job. He wanted to follow in his hero's footsteps, his father. Dale never pushed police work on Zach. The decision to take this job has to be for you. It is a calling. You can't take this job to please anybody else. Dale emphasized that. Dale even noted Zach's skill in electronics and suggested IT as a possible direction for Zach to take his life. But Zach was determined to be a police officer. He read police-related books on tactics. He did ride-alongs with officers. He probed and questioned his father relentlessly about all things police. He got his college degree in criminal justice. He got accepted into the police academy. And from what we learned last night, it moved his heart so much it brought him to tears that he was chasing his dream, that he realized it. He graduated from the police academy in 2015, and I'll never forget that day. The look of pride on Zach and Dale's face, the way they looked at each other was just priceless. It was another bond in their relationship. It was a terrific moment. But after graduation, it was not all rainbows and sunshine. Zach was struggling. The quiet, reserved kid from Sweden, Kentucky, was having a hard time establishing a command presence in a big city. It was concerning. Some officers even confused his shyness for courage, which absolutely was not the case. Dale had a hard conversation with Zach. This might not be the right job for you. It's not for everyone, and there's no shame in that. It's a tough conversation to have with your kid. But Zach wasn't going to give up. He wasn't going to make excuses, and he wasn't going to blame anybody. He put his heart and soul into improving. And with the help of an outstanding FTO, he did improve. He drastically improved, as I'm about to get into. Like I said, Zach loved this job. And according to his major and his squad back here, he was good at it. One of his squad mates described Zach as the go-to guy for all things tech and report taking related. I wonder if anybody had anything to do with report taking. He was also an expert on state law and policy. Many adjectives were used to describe Zach: honor, courage, selfless, dedicated, solid, and a slew of others. I'm sure that's why that he was promoted to field training officer himself. His first probationary officer, Officer Shaw, raved on his teaching ability and his willingness to go the extra mile to make sure that she succeeded. She was extremely appreciative that Zach would even spend his own time, not on overtime, his own time to make sure that she could achieve her goals. That's selfless. His platoon all shared different stories about Zach, but every single one of them said that Zach was obsessed with food. At 9 a.m., he was already asking everybody where they were going for lunch. He wanted everybody to eat together, and where they were going was item number one on his priority list for the day. They also joked about his diet. Zach's a very picky eater, and they good-heartedly teased him about eating like a toddler. They would encourage him to just get a Happy Meal or some Lunchables, Eating like a toddler, that's good. That apple didn't fall far from the tree, did it, Dale? Another picky eater. Officer Donna Morgan told me about a time where Zach and her made a run on a man with addiction issues. Zach took the time to listen to this man's story. The man was adamant that he wanted to get clean, he wanted to get home. He wasn't from Louisville. Zach ended up calling the family, checking his backstory. He felt that this man was being truthful. Zach bought this man a bus ticket home. Many of his squad probably don't know this because Dale just told me this last night. They don't know the rest of the story. Zach doesn't brag about what he does. He's humble. But he also helped pay for the stranger's rehab. Rehab is extremely expensive. He ended up going to Dad to borrow money. Dale questioned Zach's decision to spend so much money on a stranger. Zach's response was, "This guy had nobody in Louisville. If I don't help him, who will?" You know, sitting here in this building, it's Christmas time. We all know the reason for the season. Zach was imitating somebody, you know. That stranger has cleaned himself up. He has a job, and he had been emailing Zach with updates and thank yous. He even mailed a check to Zach to pay him back. So that good deed had a very positive outcome. One of Zach's platoon members received a call from the Dosker Manor complex. She was informed that they had received several emails from residents praising the professionalism and the demeanor of Zach and how greatly he's going to be missed. And those citizens of that community wanted to pass on to the family how appreciative they are of Zach and his help in their neighborhood. Zach was ate up with police work, ate up with it. It was his dream job. He was a squirrel in the platoon. He was always pressing to do more. And he was always smiling and happy to be doing it. But his absolute favorite thing was his family. It was obvious that Zach and Jamie were meant for each other. Even after years of marriage and 2 kids, they acted like a couple of love-struck teenagers. And if you've been watching the video board up here, you'll see that in there, the way they look at each other. It's really sweet. They have 2 boys, and Zach cherished his time with those boys. He had a nightly routine where he would play with them, get them ready for bed, and he wouldn't miss that. If he had to stay up late and miss sleep, that was important to him. Jamie and Zach made it a priority to implement good habits to raise humble and giving children. One example is a tradition that they started this year. They had their son Riley select toys to put in a bag they were going to give to Santa, so Santa could give that to some other children in need. Their goal was to try to get Riley, to pick 10 toys. Any of you who have small children know how hard that can be. They high-fived and cheered as Riley put toy after toy in that bag until he filled it up. Jamie's explanation for this tradition that she started was that their boys are wrapped in love and blessed more than they truly understand. They want to make sure that Riley and Alexander remain close to grace and that they show kindness to others, especially to those less fortunate. Although Riley might not fully understand what this small act of kindness means right now, he wants them to truly understand later in life how special it is to give in a season known for children to receive. Wow. Santa was on board with this new tradition also. He left a bag for next year and a card thanking them for the toys. Jamie, that's just, man, that's awesome. You guys. Whew. I'd like to thank Pam and Buster and Dale and Natalie for mentoring such a quality young man. I know he developed much of his character from your example, from your guidance. My brother Dale exhibited this family's character in the most extreme circumstance. This past Saturday, it was wrongfully reported that this incident was a hit-and-run accident. We were in the hospital while Zach was fighting for his life. I want you to put yourself in Dale's shoes right now. All right? Think about how you'd be feeling. Somebody came up and asked if they caught the guy that hit Zach, and ran. And then Dale was then made aware of the incorrect hit-and-run stories. Dale immediately called over Major Bates. He was angry about the reporting. Dale looked at Major Bates and said, that man's family does not need to deal from the fallout from this bad report. You all need to get this fixed, and you need to get it fixed now. Amazing. Whew. Good on you, brother. I'm proud of you. I'd like to thank Jamie. You know, us boys never grow up. And once we move out of the household, unfortunately, it's the wife's job to have to step in and be that adult supervision. You know, part of his character was absolutely influenced by you. You are his rock. You are an impressive young lady. The speech that you gave last night to the officers, that message of strength and unity, birds of a feather flock together. I know we've all asked ourselves, why? Why him? That's a question I certainly can't answer. You know, man upstairs is the one that's got that. And what I can offer is a suggestion of how we can proceed, how we can honor him. Zach was an excellent example of how we should all be, a role model. He made his little corner of the world better. So if you want to honor him, if you want to remember him, then let's imitate him. Be like Zach. If you see a person in need, like Zach did with the gentleman with addiction issues, help them. Be like Zach. If you're failing at something, like Zach was at the beginning of his career, don't make excuses. Don't point to other people and blame them. Clear that obstacle. Be like Zach. If you are a parent, spend dedicated time with your children. Create that bond. Create traditions that instills servitude and gratitude. Be like Zach. If you see someone that needs assistance like Zach does with his rookies, help them. Be like Zach. Don't just hashtag it. Don't just put it on a t-shirt. Be like Zach. Do it. Live it. Deeds, not words. Be like Zach. This city and this country has been in a bad way. This 29-year-old hero has given us the blueprint to fix it. And all you have to do is make your corner of the world a better place. Be like Zach. Thank you.
Heart beats fast, colors and promises. How to be brave? How can I love when I'm afraid to fall? But watching you stand alone, all of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved
As we come to a close in this service, Dale, his father, has asked me to speak briefly and be a part of this service, and I'm more than honored to do that, Dale. Dale and I worked together in the 5th Division and got to know Dale very well. I would like to say that, Dale, we know how proud you are of your son. You spoke about him daily, and we'll never forget that. On behalf of Zach's family, they want to take a moment to thank and express their gratitude to the LMPD family for all they've done in the last few days. The outpouring support, doing anything we need to do for the family. His family was there. They also want to thank the University of Louisville Hospital for their care and tireless commitment for Zach. The family is especially appreciative to Highlands Funeral Home for their professionalism and care they've extended to this family. We want to also thank Southeast Christian Church for opening up their home to us and giving us care and comfort during these last 2 days. They also want to thank Supporting Heroes that's always there for us as well. And lastly, they want to express their thanks to the Rodman family for being there these last few days as well. You have heard stories of Zach, of how he was a good friend, a good police officer, a good father, husband, son, brother. I talked to Jamie a little bit yesterday and was talking about how much she wants us to express of how good of a father he was to Riley and Alexander. He always came home, like they said earlier, gave time, attention, and took care of his 2 children. He loved his wife. I asked Jamie, did you speak with Zach the morning of this last day of tour of duty? She said, by text. And she said what he texted back and forth was flirting, cute, and funny. That's her last communication with Zach. You couldn't ask for any better way to end. I talked to his mother, Pam, briefly also. And I said, what are some things that you remember about Zach when he was little that stuck out to you? She said Zach would always kiss and hug her up until he was like 8 or 9 years old. And she said she will never, ever forget that. I remember meeting Zach when he first became a police officer out in the 3rd Division. And he was struggling at the time, like we all do, I believe, when we become new police officers. And he came out of the sergeant's office one day, and he was kind of frustrated, and he just looked at me, and I looked at him, and I said, let me speak to you just for a minute. I said, I know you're struggling, and I know you have a tough sergeant right now. Well, let me tell you something. You will get through this. We will get you through this. We will train you. We will do whatever we need to do to get you to point A to point B. And I said, trust me, and I will pray for you, and I will do anything I can for you to get you through this. And he was very appreciative of that. And when I reported to the 5th Division as a sergeant, that was the first story Dale had told me about his son. He said he was very appreciative of how you took him to the side and encouraged him to continue on and to become a police officer he is today. Dale, thank you for your support each and every day for Zach. He followed in your footsteps. We're going to look at scriptures just for a minute, and the hope that we do have. As earlier we heard scriptures from John 14, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you, not as the world gives, but as I give. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid. I believe a greater testimony to one's faith is not how many times a person goes to church. A greater measure of faith shows of how you live your life daily. Jesus said, "You can tell a tree by its fruit. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit." The Apostle James said, "Faith without works is dead." The fruit of Zach's life, as we all have seen and heard today, even in the midst of his severe pain and suffering, he speaks deep of his faith, trust that he has in his Creator. There was a story that was told to me that there was a truck driver had stopped in the midst of this tragedy and approached Zach. And in the pain and agony that Zach was in, this gentleman says, "I see that you're married, that you have a wife." And he looked up. Zach looked up and in all his pain gave a big smile. So that's how much he loves you, Jamie. Always remember that, and his family. In conclusion, our hope is found in Jesus, who died on the cross for us. As a police officer myself, I know the challenges. I know the challenges of the climate in which we are currently policing today. We will find strength to get through this, like we always do. We will find strength to support you, Jamie. That is a promise from the Louisville Metro Police Department and all of his family. You will never be left alone, nor your children. That is a promise. I'm going to read a poem that I think can sum this up very well. A Hero's Welcome. It's time to come home, dear brother. Your tour of duty is through. You have given as much as anyone can be expected to do. There's just a few steps further and the smoke will start to clear. Others will hear you, guide you. You will have no need for fear. You have not failed your brothers and sisters. You clearly gave it all. And through your selfless actions, and others will hear the call. So take your place of honor among those who have gone before you, and know you will be remembered for now and forevermore. That thin blue line that's been showing behind me here has never been broken. In the last few years, we know that we've been through a lot, and Zach was right in the midst of that, especially down in the division in which he worked and policed. We will carry on. We will not fail. With God's hand and mercy upon us, we will continue on. We will fight on. We will always remember Zach, who he is. Amen? We will not stand back and give up. We will fight and will always remember Zach's sacrifice. Jamie, we love you. Our hearts break as much as yours breaking today. Your pain, there's no words.
It must have been cold there in my shadow to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine, that's your way. You always walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face want you to know I know the truth.